Hey guys, so I'm back with another Alchemy Stars video. I want to go over the Persona Collab characters. A lot of people have asked about the Persona Collab characters. Are they worth summoning for, etc.? So I want to go over that a little bit. I'm delayed because I did have to edit other videos, so this kind of fell by the wayside a little bit. I can't possibly test the character and see exactly how they function if I'm editing a video. I actually have to pay attention to how these characters function. I have tested them out a little bit, and I'm not really sold that much on their skills. The weak status thing, I get why they did it, to fit in with the persona idea, but they really should have made exploit weakness do something else, not just be stacks to get to weakness. I really think that as you put stacks of exploit weakness on the enemy, I think they should have made it so the enemy's defense gets less and less and less. So as you stack these exploit weakness, the character does more damage. I think that's something they should have did so that these exploit weakness stacks actually have some value, not only for these persona characters, but these persona characters working alongside all of these other characters. Right now, because of the way this system is with exploit weakness and the weakness state, that really doesn't help any other Aurorian in this game do anything. The only thing exploit weakness and weakness affect are these persona characters. So there's a complete disconnect between these persona characters and our Aurorians, so it kind of doesn't make too much sense. And it really doesn't matter that there's no converters. They could have did that, but all they had to do was make this system actually work with our regular Aurorians. They could have just made it so that as you stack exploit weakness, the enemy's defense decreases. That's something they could have did. And then these characters would actually work perfectly alongside our regular Aurorians. Honestly, I think Violet's quite good. Her damage actually seems to be pretty good, and I don't even have her at Ascension 3 yet, mostly because I don't have this Ascension material. I'm gonna have to wait till I get stamina to be able to do that. But she does seem to be quite damagey. I would like to get her built up to a certain level, because I think that could make the team that I suggested, where you use Violet and Joker on a team. Basically, you could do a team like this, where you use Joker alongside Violet, a couple of converters, and a healer. And you can actually get quite a bit of stacks off. I have tried this, and it's actually pretty decent. You can get a lot of stacks this way with just these two characters. I think Joker's a must in terms of getting enough stacks on the enemies. Because of his ability to double the exploit weakness, it's very useful and it's very important in terms of getting more damage from your special skill. I do think the biggest problem with these characters is they kind of have no synergy at all with the non-persona Aurorians, so they really only work with other persona characters because of the way they made that exploit weakness system. But in general, when you're using these characters, they function a lot like characters that do debuffs. So these persona characters with the exploit weakness functions a lot like debuffs, except it's not a debuff that's going to cause damage over time, but it is a debuff in terms of getting to weakness and increasing your damage from your special attack. So stacking the exploit weakness and making them get in a weak state is really important for these persona characters. In the same way, if you want to do a lot of damage over time, you're going to have to stack a bunch of bleeds on the enemy and burns on the enemy. Then you can get quite a bit of damage over time damage from these types of characters. So it kind of fits in with that, more along the lines of that area of doing damage, abusing debuffs and stacks. I also think in Joker's case, he provides the best way of getting a lot of exploit weakness stacks on the enemies. So the other Persona Collab characters do benefit from having Joker alongside of them. It's also kind of unfortunate that I was unable to get these characters maxed out entirely, which is what I really like to do in order to test a character, to see them at their full strength. But there's other characters I had to level up, and I was actually missing quite a bit of Ascension materials for these characters. And I don't just want to waste resources like my recharger packs. I don't want to waste all of my resources trying to level up these characters. To be quite frank, I don't want to. I'd rather level them up over time. I think once I have Violet leveled up, it actually could be pretty decent with using Joker and Violet on a team. But I think in general, Violet's a good detonator, so even if you want to throw her on a team for damage, especially in those Pandora stages where we need so many characters, she actually would work out pretty well, providing some kind of damage, especially if you need a fire detonator on a team for the Pandora stages. So she's not a bad option for that kind of thing. I actually think they should buff this exploit weakness system a little bit so that it actually has some kind of value in using these characters alongside regular Aurorians. So I think they really should, as exclusives, readdress this exploit weakness. I really doubt that they will, especially if their intention is to never rerun this collab again, which is a possibility. If you think about how these characters are, there's the possibility that this particular collab won't be rerun, and that's why they made sure the characters aren't necessarily something you're going to need down the road, especially if you're not going to be able to get these characters. So, are they worth summoning for? Obviously, you should use your free summons to summon on these banners. Why not? They're free summons. Try to see if you can get something out of here. But is it really worth summoning for these characters? I like having all the characters for collection purposes. It's also really good to build out your character pool with all kinds of different characters, especially for content that requires you to use multiple teams, or something like the Pandora stages that requires you to use specific elements and classes of characters. So being able to pick up some of these units helps you add to your character pool and makes it a little easier doing that type of content that requires multiple teams and you use specific types of characters. With that said, I don't think that these characters are a must. I think if you like Persona, this is going to be something that you want to summon on, but I don't think they're a must. I don't think their skill kits or anything too crazy. They're really held back by the exploit weakness system. I think if the exploit weakness system was different, then we can have a different conversation about whether or not you should summon for these characters or not. I think if you like Persona, it's probably something you're going to want to summon for. If you don't care about Persona, you basically don't have to worry about missing out on anything because these characters aren't really must-haves. You're not missing out on too much by not summoning for these characters, or if you don't get them. I think they do that on purpose so people don't have to feel bad if they don't like Persona and don't want to summon on these. As well as if they don't really plan on rerunning this collab, players won't have to worry that they missed out on ridiculously powerful characters or characters that are really valuable. I think that's why in these collabs, they don't really put healers in or converters in, because if you miss a converter, for example, that would be quite massive for you. It means that anyone who played during a collab where they put out those type of characters, they're always going to have the benefit above you because they had access to characters that are now locked behind a collab exclusive recruitment. I think they're trying to balance things out between making these collab characters interesting, but not having them be so ridiculous that if someone missed out on that character, they're now behind. They'll always be held back in the content. I think they try to manage that really well in this game, which unfortunately results in creating a system like the exploit weakness system associated with these Persona characters, and it kind of falling flat a little bit. But anyone who comes in after this collab doesn't have to worry about that they miss characters that they probably would have wanted to have in their character roster to be able to do content in the game. So the answer to that question, should you summon? I think it comes down to if you're a fan of Persona, if you're the type of person who likes having every character in your collection, or if you're a person who really only plays this game for characters that have good skill kits that will add to the capabilities of your current teams. You know, if you're a fan of Persona and are looking to collect all the characters, you're probably going to want to summon on these banners. If you're a skill-oriented person, I think the exploit weakness thing is very niche. I think it's limiting. So I think if you don't care about Persona or having every single character in this game, you could probably save your summons for whatever banners are coming up after this. But you can always decide whether you want to summon on this banner or the next banners at a later time, because we will get information about the next banners before this collab exclusive recruitment goes away. So you can see what the next characters are going to be like and then gauge which banners you want to summon on. But we're going to have to wait some time for that since this collab just started. There's still quite a bit of time left in it. So as it gets closer to the next event, we'll be able to take a look at what those characters have going for them. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.